Have you ever been cleaning out an old cupboard, sorting through a trunk tucked away in a corner, or opening a dusty box that hasn't been touched in years, and suddenly come across an old photograph? For a moment, you simply stare at it. Perhaps it is a family gathering, an old school picture, a holiday you had almost forgotten, a person who is no longer a part of your everyday life. And before you consciously begin remembering the details, before you recall the date, the place, or even the story behind it, something else arrives. A feeling, a knot in your heart, a smile, a sense of nostalgia, or perhaps even a tinge of sadness. The photograph does not say a word. It hasn't explained itself, and yet somehow it has already touched something inside of you. The image came first, and the feeling followed. And before you knew, the story begins to unfold. Hello, my lovelies. A warm namaste and greetings from Chandra, your friendly neighborhood tarot advisor. Now, welcome back to my video series 21 Steps to Learn Tarot, inspired by the work of tarot luminary and master Mary K. Greer, work 21 Ways to Read a Tarot Card. And we continue our journey with the stranger. I want you to recap the beautiful milestones. In step 1, we gave stranger a name. In step 2, we slowed down and truly looked at the stranger. We described what we saw, first objectively and then subjectively in the first person. Now, today we take the next natural step. How do we feel about the stranger? And perhaps even more importantly, how does the stranger feel? Now, because tarot is not simply a language of symbols, it is also a language of emotions, experience, and human connections. And before a card can tell us a story, it often asks us to feel something. Now, before I begin today's lesson, I want to share something that took me years of reading tarot to fully understand. When most people begin learning a tarot, they focus on memorizing meanings, they learn keywords, they learn symbols, and they learn what a card is supposed to represent. And while all that has its place, yes, of course it does, but some of the most powerful readings I have witnessed in over a decade of working with tarot, the learnings may not begin with a meaning at all. Instead, it may as well begin with a feeling. A client would look at a card and suddenly become emotional. Someone would see a card and feel relief or joy without knowing why. And another person would react strongly to an image that seemed completely ordinary to everyone else in the room. Now, over time, I've realized something important. Tarot is not just a language of symbols, it is also a language of feelings. That is exactly what we're exploring today in this video. In step 3, we explore emotions. Now, when I say emotions, I am not talking about dramatic reactions or overwhelming experiences. I am talking about the subtle emotional impressions that arise the moment we encounter an image. A sense of comfort, a feeling of tension, curiosity, warmth, distance, excitement, unease, familiarity, you name it as you see it. Now, most people imagine they are looking at tarot card objectively. But the truth is that our emotions influence every perception we have. Allow me to explain. Two people can look at the same card and they can walk away with completely different impressions. One person may see freedom and another person may see loneliness. One person may see mystery and another may see confusion. Now neither response is necessarily wrong. The card remains the same. What changes is the emotional lens through which we experience it. Now, this is one of the reasons why tarot works so beautifully as a reflective tool. The cards do not simply show us an image, they show us our relationship to those images. Now, let us go back to Priya for a moment. You may remember her from my earlier exercises. Uh, Priya came to me during a period of a relationship stalemate. Now, she felt stuck in a marriage and exhausted by the circumstances that seemed beyond her control. Now, during our sessions, the Eight of Swords appeared. Now, if I'd approached the card mechanically, I would have immediately started discussing restriction, limitation, feeling trapped, or mental patterns. Now, those interpretations would have not been incorrect. But before any of that happened, something far more interesting occurred. As Priya looked at the card, her shoulders tightened. Her breathing became shallow. Her hand moved instinctively towards her throat. So instead of asking her what she thought about the card, I asked her where she felt the card. She sat quietly for a moment and then responded. She said, Chandra, it feels like a breath I have been holding for a very, very long time, and it is time to let go. Now, that answer told me more than any textbook definition could have. The card was not speaking to her through a theory, it was speaking to her through her experience, and that is the lesson. Often, the body and the emotions recognize something long before the intellect catches up. That is why the emotional awareness matters so much in tarot. Now, there is another fascinating aspect to this process, our emotional language. Our emotional language is far more complex than we realize. Let's say, for example, when someone looks at the card and say, this feels cold, what do they actually mean? Do they mean physically cold? Do they mean distant? Do they mean detached? Do they mean lonely? Or do they mean calm or composed? And this is something we do every day with words like beautiful. The moment I hear that word, I can't help but think of a certain political leader currently dominating global headlines for whom almost everything seems to be beautiful. He says it's beautiful. Now, half the world is left wondering whether that beautiful is about to create some peace or more conflict somewhere. I'm sure you know who is the one I'm talking about. Never mind, let's come back to the journey, which is exactly the point. The word itself tells us very little. The feeling, the intention, and the emotional charge behind it tells us everything. As a tarot reader, part of our work is learning to become more precise observers of our own emotional response. The words we use matter. The feelings behind those words matter even more. Now, this brings us to a phrase that is my personal favorite in Mary's word. She says, emotion is often described as energy in motion. Now, I happen to think that is a wonderful, useful way of understanding it. Think about it. Fear moves us towards protection. Excitement moves us towards action. Anger moves us towards boundaries. And hope moves us towards possibility. Emotion is rarely static. It wants us to go somewhere, it wants us to do something. In a tarot reading, emotions often reveal where the energy is gathering and where movement is possible. They show us what matters. They show us what is alive. They show us where transformation may already be beginning. That is why tarot images are so very powerful. They are filled with emotional metaphors. When we see water in a card, many of us instinctively associate it with feelings, intuitions, memory, or emotional depth. Now, when we see a figure standing alone, as in the Eight of Swords, we may experience independence, solitude, loneliness, or a sense of contemplation. A bright red cloak or a red lipstick, it may convey, evoke passion, determination, courage, anger, or intensity. A stormy skies, as in the Three of Swords, creates a very different emotional landscape than a clear blue sky, as in the Tarot Star would, right? Notice that none of these responses are purely intellectual. They are emotional. They are emotional reactions to the visual information. The image speaks. Now we arrive at perhaps the most important part of today's lesson, empathy. If emotions help us to understand ourselves, empathy helps us to understand the people within the cards. As readers, we are constantly stepping into the perspective beyond our own. We are trying to understand and experience from the inside rather than from the outside. In many ways, empathy is one of the greatest gifts of a tarot reader can develop. Because once we stop asking, what does this card mean, and begin asking, what might this person be experiencing, the entire reading changes. The card becomes human, the image becomes alive, the stranger becomes someone whom we can understand. And that is exactly what we are going to practice together today. Now, let us return to the collective stranger, the high priestess. Now, I do not want you to think about the traditional meanings. Forget intuition, forget secrets, forget hidden knowledge. For just a moment, simply look at her. Look at her here. Notice your emotional responses. Perhaps the image feels peaceful, perhaps it feels distant, perhaps it feels wise, perhaps it feels intimidating, perhaps it feels comforting. Now, there is no need to force an answer. Simply notice what naturally arises. Take one step further. Instead of focusing on your feeling, focus on hers. What emotion seems to be present in her posture, expression, and presence? She appears calm, she appears measured, patient, reserved. There is this sense that she does not feel the need to prove herself, right? There is also a quiet conviction about her, not loud confidence, not performative confidence, that kind that comes from an inner knowing. Now comes the empathy exercise. Imagine becoming the high priestess. How wonderful. Speak as though you are her. You might write, I do not need to rush. I trust what I know. I am comfortable with silence. I am observing before acting. I understand more than I choose to reveal. Notice what happens when you write from that perspective. I'm sure you will be pleasantly surprised as well as amazed. You are no longer analyzing the card, my lovelies. You are experiencing it, and that in itself is a tectonic shift. All right, that brings us to the today's assignment. Take your personal stranger card and open your journal. Under the notes you created in our previous lessons, complete the following exercise. First, write down your immediate emotional reaction to the card. Do not overthink it. Second, describe the emotions, the attitude, and the emotional atmosphere surrounding the figure or the figures within the card. Third, rewrite those observations in the first person, present tense. Become the stranger. If your figure appears worried, write as though you are worried. If your figure appears helpful or hopeful, write as though you are helpful and hopeful. Now, step into the experience. Fourth, based on your first person retelling, identify a recent situation in your life where you have experienced similar emotions, attitude, or circumstances. Where has your life shown you this same energy? And finally, spend a few minutes with a collective stranger, the high priestess, and repeat the same exercise. Compare your experiences with your personal card. Notice similarity, notice differences, notice what feels familiar and what feels unexpected. Do not worry about getting it right. The exercise is not testing your tarot knowledge, it is developing your relationship with the cards, and more importantly, your relationship with yourself. Now, notice how far we have already come. In step 1, we named the stranger. In step 2, we described the stranger. Today, we together felt the stranger. We explored emotion. We practiced empathy. We stepped inside the image instead of merely observing it. And something wonderful begins to happen when we do that. The stranger stops feeling like a collection of symbols. The stranger begins feeling like a living presence. And once we understand how the stranger feels, we are finally ready to understand something even more deeper. Their story. Yes, you guessed it right. I hope you are having fun learning alongside me as much as I am. And it is perfectly all right if you're joining my journey midway in this video. However, I do encourage you to begin from the very first step because each layer builds upon the one before it, and together they create a much richer experience and a relationship with the cards. Now, in our next session, we move from emotion into the narrative. We begin discovering how the stranger arrived here, what may be happening beneath the surface, and where the tale may lead next. Are you excited? I will see you in the next video. Love and light, Chandra.